In 25 years, one man conquered more territory than the Roman Empire did in 4 centuries. He did it not with superior numbers, but with a system nobody had ever seen before. By 1227, Genghis Khan had created the largest contiguous empire in history, spanning over 24 million square kilometers, and you might wonder, what specific innovations allowed him to achieve such unprecedented success. As you delve into the world of 13th century Mongolia, you'll find that the region was fragmented into numerous tribes, with the Merkid, Nayman, and Karait tribes being the most prominent, often at war with each other, and by 1206, Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan, had begun to unify these tribes through strategic alliances and military victories. The Mongol Empire's early successes were also influenced by the neighboring Tangut Empire, which had developed a sophisticated system of governance and administration, and you might ask, how did Genghis Khan adapt these existing systems to fuel his own conquests? In 1206, Genghis Khan was formally proclaimed as the Khan, or ruler, of the Mongols, marking the beginning of a new era in Mongol history, and by 1211, he had already launched a series of military campaigns against the neighboring Jin dynasty in China. Genghis Khan's military innovations, such as the use of the feigned retreat, where Mongol warriors would pretend to flee, only to lure their enemies into a trap, allowed him to defeat much larger armies, as seen in the Battle of Samarkand in 1220, where the Mongols defeated a much larger Khwarezmid army. His spy networks, which included merchants, travelers, and even monks, provided him with vital intelligence on his enemies, such as the strength of their armies and the layout of their cities, and by 1223, he had established a network of spies and informants that stretched from China to Eastern Europe. The Mongol postal system, known as the Yam, allowed for rapid communication across the vast empire, with messengers able to travel up to 200 miles per day, and by 1234, this system had been expanded to include over 1,400 postal stations. Genghis Khan's policy of religious tolerance also helped to win over the loyalty of his subjects, as he allowed Christians, Muslims, and Buddhists to practice their faith freely, and in 1229, he even granted tax exemptions to Christian churches in the newly conquered territories. You might consider, how did Genghis Khan balance the needs of his diverse subjects while maintaining control over his vast empire, and by 1241, the Mongols had developed a sophisticated system of governance, with a clear hierarchy of officials and a well-organized bureaucracy. The aftermath of Genghis Khan's conquests saw the creation of a vast, interconnected trade network, known as the Silk Road, which stretched from China to Europe, and by 1300, this network had become a major conduit for the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. The Mongol Empire's administrative genius, which included the use of a written code of laws, known as the Yasa, and a system of taxation, allowed for efficient governance of the vast territories, and by 1251, the Mongols had established a well-organized system of administration, with a clear hierarchy of officials and a well-organized bureaucracy. However, after Genghis Khan's death in 1227, the empire began to fracture, with his successors engaging in a series of costly wars and power struggles, and by 1260, the empire had been divided into 4 main khanates, each with its own ruler and administration. You might wonder, what specific factors contributed to the decline of the Mongol Empire, and by 1368, the Mongols had lost control of China, marking the beginning of the end of the Mongol Empire. As you reflect on the legacy of Genghis Khan, you're left with a profound question: what would have happened if he had lived longer, or if his successors had maintained the unity and discipline of the early Mongol Empire, and by 1405, the Mongol Empire had been reduced to a mere shadow of its former self, a testament to the enduring impact of Genghis Khan's conquests on the course of world history.